Hello everyone, and welcome to the Colorado Rockies franchise on MLB The Show, where today we are celebrating 100 episodes in this series. With this being episode 100, I wanted to make this a special milestone episode today. We've had a long journey with this team, and it's been a lot of fun, and there's still much to do, but I don't want to lose sight of how far this team has come. We've gone from being the worst team in baseball, arguably, to a team that might have a chance to compete for a championship. That's taken 100 episodes to get to that point. Right now, we have a team that can compete with anybody, and we're excited about our current season that looks like it could be our best. We're going to get to a lot of things in this episode and continue Season 5, but the first thing I wanted to do is take a little trip down memory lane with this team and really recap the first 99 episodes of building up the Colorado Rockies. Alright, let's cut to the chase. This team was not in a good spot when I took it over at the start of this franchise. Not only were the Rockies in rebuild mode, but they're also perhaps the most geographically unlucky team in the major leagues, playing in the NL West with some of the best teams in the game and some of the highest payrolls as well. Creating a strong baseball team is a challenge for any organization, but I think especially when you look at the Rockies or the Orioles and who they're up against on a yearly basis, the requirements to compete are higher. Now, the Rockies had made the playoffs in 2017 and 2018, but had lost many of the players that helped them get there in the first place, notably Nolan Arenado, DJ LeMahieu. So they were left rebuilding, while the rest of the division felt like it was getting stronger, with the Padres and Fernando Tatis Jr. Manny Machado joined them. The Dodgers? I don't have to go into much detail with them. The San Francisco Giants? 3 World Series titles in the 2010s? We were on more of an even playing field with the Diamondbacks, but still, being 3rd or 4th place in the division doesn't get you anywhere. And if you look at what's happened in this franchise, of the 4 World Series, 2 have gone to the Dodgers, 1 has gone to the Padres. I knew this series would be challenging, but it became even more difficult than I thought it would be. The first story we had was, of course, revolving around Trevor Story and what would ultimately happen with him, entering free agency soon and the Rockies not being anywhere near competing. As was expected, I did trade Trevor Story and thought I was going to acquire a difference-making pitching prospect in Touki Toussaint. We made the trade with the Atlanta Braves, and the trade did not work out whatsoever. I spent multiple years trying to develop Toussaint into a major league caliber pitcher for us, and ultimately, we traded him a couple years later. I made that move in an attempt to help fix what was one of the worst pitching staffs in the entire league. We had to upgrade our pitching if we were to compete with San Diego or LA, and the Trevor Story trade didn't help us do that. Now, there were other players on the team that had upside that we wanted to see develop, and in year 1, we didn't get a lot of that. Some players were able to flash potential here and there. Others just struggled completely. So year 1 didn't see us make much progress. The most exciting thing that happened was perhaps the drafting of David Geronimo. I had to get a high upside player that could deliver some offense for us, and it was very convenient that he also had an early MLB ETA, and we drafted him number 11. He was the first draft pick of the entire series, and the first player who ultimately made it to the bigs with us. There are still players here who could potentially help us out, but have not yet made it to the bigs. After losing 109 games in year 1, we made it to the offseason with the chance to add some more players. I wanted to make moves without breaking the bank, and that led to us bringing in Andrew Heaney to be our ace, and Javi Baez to help replace Trevor Story and Nolan Arenado and that impact they had in the heart of our order. Those were the big moves of the offseason, but as we look back now, we can see that maybe our 2 best moves were in the Rule 5 draft. I decided to select Yonny Chirinos with one of our Rule 5 picks, and he's been a really reliable, solid starter for us for a few years now. We also drafted Seranthony Dominguez, who was with the Phillies before. We knew he had some control problems, but he's ended up having really good seasons with us, although this current one he's struggling a bit, but when he's on his game, there's nothing batters can do. We definitely made some progress in Season 2, and Javi Baez delivered some really exciting moments. We picked him up coming off a down final year in Chicago, hoping that he would hit a bunch of home runs with us and bounce back in a big way. Unfortunately, he stayed inconsistent, did hit some home runs, but showed he wasn't really the one player you could build an offense around. Andrew Heaney became our ace pitcher in year 2, and he had a good season. He wasn't necessarily a true ace, but he was a big boost to the worst pitching staff in the majors. After losing 109 games the season before, we spent our first pick on Johnny Schaefer, top catcher prospect with sky-high potential, and we've seen him make it to the big leagues, and he's on a great trajectory. We were hoping to see some players break out in year 2, and it didn't happen for Garrett Hampson or Brendan Rodgers or Ryan McMahon. But one player who did catch our attention was Connor Joe. He was a minor league player who had bounced around a bunch of different teams, but finally found his comfort zone here in Colorado, and he did make a difference for us in year 2, supplying some really fun moments and being one of our more reliable players. It eventually got to the point where he was pretty much an everyday player for us, and he had earned it. Year 2 was another struggle for us, but it showed more potential going forward. We went from losing 109 games in year 1 to 95 in year 2. We won 14 more games. And going into the next offseason, I definitely wanted to get more aggressive. It had become very apparent to me that I had to go make some big free agent moves. And our first real big signing was to bring in Luis Severino. Once again, bringing in a player I wanted to be our ace on a $103 million deal. We also brought in Trey Turner on a pretty reasonable 5-year, $70 million deal. We brought in a big-time closer, Taylor Rogers, away from the Minnesota Twins, and then decided to trade longtime Rocky and fan favorite Charlie Blackmon as we acquired Ty France from the Seattle Mariners. I had no idea at the time how big of a move this would end up being for us. We brought in Brandon Nimmo to be the dominant on-base percentage player for us, and Alex Colomé to hopefully be a solid reliever, which he did end up being. I also began to think about potentially trading away Javi Baez, as I didn't think a long-term deal would work out. 2 years into the series, the team had changed a lot. We hadn't seen much development from the players that were already on the team, and those players were slipping down the batting order and losing playing time. Thankfully, in year 3, Luis Severino immediately took control of that ace role and has not let it go ever since. This deal has been one of the best of the entire series, and Severino is a true ace pitcher and a Cy Young candidate. David Geronimo, after 1 year in the minor leagues, made his way to the show, and he has been a star in this offense. For as young as he is such a well-developed hitter. Now, I've talked about the players that were on this roster in year 1 not developing. Well, that was not the case when it came to catcher Dom Nunez. On a team that had plenty of A and B potential players, out of that year 1 roster, Dom Nunez has by far been one of the best players and is one of the only that has stuck around throughout the entire series despite the drafting of Johnny Schaefer. He's been that good. Nunez impressed a lot in year 3, but it seemed like the free agent signings were performing so much better than the players that had been on the team developing from the very beginning. Garrett Hampson and Brendan Rodgers were A potential players, but they never gave us the impact that we were seeing from both Dom Nunez and Connor Joe, two players that had lower potential, were older than those two, but were simply better. In year 2, we were one of the worst on-base teams in all of baseball, and Brandon Nimmo helped us change that in season 3, as he competed for the National League batting title, which he lost by a couple points to Carlos Correa, but I was more than happy to see him hit above 300 and just give us stability. In year 3, our first pick was Michael Moreno, a 20-year-old starting pitcher prospect with 98 potential. He's not at the big leagues yet, but I think we have nailed our first round picks. Season 3 was the first time this team really looked competitive, and going into the trade deadline, we were in the wild card hunt, and I decided to actually make a fairly aggressive trade, one that would give us a player with multiple years of control in case it didn't work out. But we traded for Bryan Reynolds to do a lot of what Brandon Nimmo did, give us more stability in the outfield, be a higher average hitter, and definitely supply some power here and there. That trade also worked out. Reynolds and Nimmo have often hit 1 and 2 back-to-back as our best batting average hitters. The progress we had made with this team really began to show in year 3. The pitching took considerable strides with Heaney, Severino, and Chirinos as new starters. David Geronimo took off as a rookie alongside a lot of free agent additions, and the offense was definitely on the rise. Geronimo had a strong rookie season and was named the NL Rookie of the Year. Unfortunately, we could not stay in the wildcard hunt and did not make the playoffs, but still had a 17-game improvement off of Season 2 and 31 more wins than we had in Year 1. We were making progress, and we were building a core I wanted to keep together for a while. Brandon Nimmo earned the long-term contract after hitting .332, and I wanted Bryan Reynolds to stick around as well. I thought we had pretty much spent all the money we could in free agency the last 2 years, until an opportunity presented itself before year 4 when we saw Rafael Devers did not have a very big free agent market when you consider the caliber of player he is. And when I saw we could bring him in on a short-term contract for $23 million over 2 years, I had to do it. And this move to me really completed this offense. We now had a team that I felt could actually compete in the NL West. We had to make a lot of moves to rebuild this offense, but I felt really good about this team going into year 4. I still had some questions about the pitching, but I was really confident in this offense, and Rafael Devers immediately showed up and became the best power hitter this team had. It became clear that these 2 years with the Rockies would reset his market, and I'm expecting it to probably triple in size when he hits free agency again. And I really hope he ends up staying here. He was playing the way I was hoping Javi Baez would when he came to the Rockies. We ended up trading him in year 3. So many of these trades and free agent moves were paying off in a major way, and the team was really making big strides. It was unfortunate that very few players from the beginning developed well, and I was starting to move on from them. In year 4, we traded away Garrett Hampson to bring in Nick Solak. Hampson still had a lot of trade value, and Nick Solak was kind of struggling that year, so it was a chance at a fresh start for both players. And Solak basically gave us the play I was hoping we would get from Garrett Hampson. He can play a lot of positions, hits pretty well, and I think it's quite the luxury for us to be able to bat him 8th, when I think he's better than that. I also decided that we were going to move on from Touki Toussaint. I spent multiple years trying to make it work, but it was clear it just wouldn't. We ended up trading him to the Tampa Bay Rays for Xavier Edwards, as they were very deep with their infield. And Edwards is developing into one of our best bench players right now. That trade has worked for us. Overhauling the roster as much as we had was certainly working. I was surprised at how well it was working, but so many of these players were playing their best baseball once joining the Rockies. Luis Severino continued to pitch as our ace and showed he still could get better even after signing the $100 million contract. After the big improvements in year 3, we made even more in season 4, and the pitching was a big reason for that. John Gray started the year at AAA, but he ultimately took over for a struggling German Marquez, and I think he had the best season of his career, certainly in the series. And when Andrew Heaney tore his ACL, we replaced him with Michael Pineda, who was a free agent at the time. I'm not sure the success of year 4 would have been possible without these two. But our bullpen was also really good. We turned this from one of the worst pitching staffs to a well above average one in 3 years. We had multiple players who could have been all-stars and probably should have been. Taylor Rogers was in year 4, but Sir Anthony Dominguez was every bit as good. I can't believe how quickly the pitching staff turned around, both the bullpen and the starting rotation. And everything was really coming together to make this a complete team. After becoming Rookie of the Year, David Geronimo took his game a step further, crushing 30 home runs in his second season. For the first time in this series, it really felt like we belonged in the postseason. And our 93 wins was good enough to win a wildcard spot to take on the San Diego Padres. After 4 years, we were finally in our first postseason in a winner-take-all wildcard game. We had to play this one on the road. There's Brandon Nimmo with a 2-run shot to right, off of Chris Paddock, who had a really big season. Here's the former Padre, it's Ty France with a fly ball to left center that helped Trey Turner come home to make it 3-1. And of course in this game, it was our ace Luis Severino, who struggled early in the first inning, but once he got through that, he was dominant. The Padres struggled to even put the ball in play, and when they did, not much was happening. The bullpen entered and really picked up where Severino left off. Had we finally done it, would the Rockies finally win a playoff game in this series? Up 3-1 in the 7th inning, Nick Solak crushes one to deep left field to increase the Rockies' lead. And we continue to bring in our top relievers who kept putting zeros on the board. The Padres offense struggled on this day. Sir Anthony Dominguez gets the final out to the 8th inning, and Taylor Rogers comes in looking for the save to advance us to LA. And that's exactly what he did. A 4-1 win for the Rockies in our first postseason game of the entire series, and that earned us a true series against the LA Dodgers. Luis Severino struck out 11 in 5 innings in this game. After that, it was time to take on the number 1 seed LA Dodgers in LA. We had a chance to win Game 1, but blew it late. And in Game 2, again started strong behind a great start from Michael Pineda. With the bases loaded here in the 7th, Rockies up 1. Scott Oberg strikes out Teoscar Hernandez with the bases loaded. We would take this game to the bottom of the 9th. And after blowing a late lead late in Game 1, we did it again in Game 2. Dodgers tie the game in the bottom of the 9th and force extra innings. And Trey Turner, top of the 10th, gives us a 2-run go-ahead home run. And a few batters later, how about some insurance from Rafael Devers? A 4-run lead in the 9th was enough for the Rockies to take Game 2 and home field advantage, taking this series to Denver for the first home playoff games of the series. Tie game, 9th inning, that's Brent Rooker, deep left field, a 3-run homer. That gave the Dodgers a comfortable lead going into the bottom of the 9th, and they win the first game in Denver, putting us 1 game away from elimination. I knew this series would be tough, but they were getting some of their biggest hits late in games against our best pitchers. Game 4, deep drive, right field, home run, Max Muncy, and now we're down by 2. Bottom 9, Trey Turner jammed into right, and the Rockies season ends right there. It's the furthest we've made it in this franchise, and that is still a ways away from us competing in and winning a World Series. The Dodgers end up celebrating on our field as they win the NLDS and went on to win the World Series for the 2nd time in the franchise. And that was the end of our most recent season and the best we've had in this franchise, winning 93 games and our first playoff games as well. Going into our most recent offseason, I wanted to do whatever I could to get us back there and further. But we were set to have a fair amount of roster turnover as we had a lot of players on expiring contracts and went into the offseason still looking to find ways to get better. After John Gray and Michael Pineda had really big seasons as veterans, I wasn't counting on them duplicating their years, and instead looked in free agency and first targeted Brewers pitcher Corbin Burnes, who I thought could come in and be another high-quality pitcher for us. I had to clear open some salary with this team and decided that after a really down season, it was time to move on from Germán Márquez and his $24 million salary, and we traded him to the White Sox. This gave us the flexibility to also pursue Jake DeGrom, one of the best pitchers of the last decade, and he accepted a 1-year deal to come to Colorado. We also brought in Lucas Sims, hoping he would bounce back from a down season to help stabilize the bullpen, and Corbin Burnes joined as well on a 2-year contract. We still were able to go after at least one more player, and I really wanted to bring in Josh Bell. He's been a really good hitter in this series, and we've met him before. This home run still impresses me. 0-2, 2 on, 2 down, and Michael Givens throws a really good pitch that he crushes with ease. I'd rather have him on our team than risk having that happen again. And finally, in the Rule 5 draft, where we've already added some difference makers in Yanni Chirinos and Sir Anthony Dominguez, I decided to bring in Ethan Small. And he's played a very important role on this team. This was the team heading into year 5. I felt really good about where we were coming off a playoff season and upgrading the pitching the way we were able to. And we started this season with Rafael Devers immediately launching his MVP campaign. This guy has been incredible. If we want to compete with the LA Dodgers and try to win this division and win playoff series, this is exactly what we need. And if you came into this season with high expectations for Jake DeGrom, he still has exceeded them. His first appearance as a Rocky was just him going on the road into San Francisco and pitching a complete game shutout with 10 strikeouts. He's been unbelievable this season, and he's already put himself in contention once again for being a Cy Young winner. But he's not the only pitcher on the team doing that. In a lot of categories, Luis Severino has been statistically better, and he's still the ace of this team. But this year, we effectively have 2 ace pitchers that have dominated and are in the top 3 for Cy Young voting, where we are in the series and season right now. The first 6 weeks of the season gave us a ton to be excited about. Rafael Devers was first in home runs. This was his 16th on the season. At the time, that was number 1 in Major League Baseball. Everything was going perfectly until Rafael Devers suffered a shin injury against the New York Mets, and we found he would be missing about 6 weeks of the season after starting out in first place in MVP voting. But that's when Josh Bell stepped in, and he's replaced him about as well as you can replace an MVP candidate. Josh Bell's hitting over 300, replacing the power that we had with Rafael Devers. And even when Devers comes back, we are going to find a starting role for him. And that's my favorite home run of his all season. At the same time, a lot of young players are getting a chance to make an impact, and Johnny Schaefer certainly is, taking huge steps forward in his second season. We have a very young bench here in Season 5, and who knows what players are going to have the chance to make the big plays in the big moment or deliver those big hits when the team really needs them. But we have a special team here in year 5, and after 99 episodes, this feels like a team that's going to have a chance to go as far as they want to. We have rebuilt the Colorado Rockies, and now all that's really left is to try and chase a World Series championship. And our pursuit of a World Series title in Season 5 continues, with a 36-25 record, with one of the best offenses right now in all of baseball. And that offense will be even better here pretty soon when Rafael Devers makes his return. As we talk about the series in its entirety today, I wanted to take a look at David Geronimo's career stats to this point. 24 years old, now in his 3rd Major League season. It's going by quick, but he's been off to a nice start. He has 69 career home runs, hitting .244. Brandon Nimmo has been here now. This is his 3rd season, and maybe he's declining a little bit, but he's still a very good on-base player. And Luis Severino, at 30 years old, has reached 92 overall and looks to be having the best season of his career. And I think he will have a chance to compete for a Cy Young as long as this keeps up. Rafael Devers, 28 years old. After this season, he is a free agent, and hopefully he stays in Colorado. And as he returns pretty soon, he should have a chance to still set a new career high in home runs. We'll check back in with the minor league teams here and there. We're not going to do that today, but there are a lot of players that could be making moves up to AAA from AA, or maybe have a chance to make their major league debuts. We start going through some games. A quick 2-game series. We split that against the Mariners. Return home to take on the Oakland A's and split the first 2 games there. Ethan Small now gets to have his start on full rest after his last one didn't really go deep, but this wasn't a great start for him. He didn't make it through the 4th inning, and we end up losing the game and the series. So now we go on the road, 38-28 record, to take on the Arizona Diamondbacks, and we are facing Zac Gallen here in episode 100. I wanted this to be a special episode, and we are going to revisit the pitcher who was part of a no-hitter against us last season. He's always been a pitcher that I found very challenging to face. Mixes speeds really well. He's got a really good circle change, and he has been the only pitcher to throw a no-hitter against us in this series, although he only threw 8 innings. Alex Young did finish the game. But still, if there was ever a pitcher to be a part of a no-hitter against us in this series, of course it would be Zac Gallen. And we are meeting up with him once again today. Not playing our best baseball coming into this game, dropping a couple series and splitting, but trying to turn that around. And it's Brandon Nimmo to get the day underway as he fouls off the fastball that clocks in at 95. And Gallen comes back, 1-2 with the circle change in the perfect spot. His control has just always been so good. 1-2, back to the circle change. Turner chasing inside. Second strikeout to begin the day. And that'll bring up David Geronimo, who's out in front, struggling against that pitch of his. Now a bouncer to third base, knocked down, and with good speed to first, Geronimo breaks up the no-hitter in the first inning. Anytime we take on Zac Gallen, that's going to be on my mind. That brings up Josh Bell, still filling in for Rafael Devers, and hitting .313. Circle change away, he's out in front, count goes full. And there's a drive, left center hit well. Geronimo on the move as that ball is down, and a ground rule double. And that will keep Geronimo at third base. I know it's hard to see the ball here, but it's down like right there. He would have scored so easily if it just stayed in. Second and third, Ty France fouls off the high fastball. 2-2 from Gallen. Got him up and in with the fastball. He's behind it. Gallen ends up striking out the side. Now it's time for Jacob deGrom to take the mound with his 2.8 ERA. He's been fantastic, although he has been walking a lot of hitters this season. He's still been striking out a ton, not allowing many runs to cross. He strikes out Ketel Marte with that triple-digit fastball, top of the strike zone. Let's go to the second inning. 2 down here, full count. Nick Solak chasing the circle change. Can't lay off, can't hit it. Another strikeout for Gallen. Bottom 2. Now full count for Yu Chang with 2 away. And that ball misses away. deGrom has had walk issues pretty much every start this season. Caratini under the glove of Josh Bell. And Yu Chang rounds second. The throw coming in is offline, and the Diamondbacks have first and third for Zac Gallen. We know he can pitch, but can he hit? Ooh, got a pitch right there. But deGrom got him right there. Strike 3. It's never been more satisfying to strike out a pitcher than doing it against Zac Gallen. But he immediately returns the favor, top of the third, getting his 6th strikeout in 7 outs. With 2 down, Trey Turner, 3-2, it's in play. But it's a fly ball to right, and the catch is made. Scoreless here through 2.5. Whit Merrifield leading off for the Diamondbacks. Pops up the bunt for deGrom. With 2 away, how about Carlos Correa? 1-2 count on the ground, right at second base. And deGrom matches the third 0. We head into the 4th inning. David Geronimo had a base hit to start things off for us. 1-1. Out in front once again. So difficult to square up that pitch. And then coming back with the fastball, strike 3. The way the fastball and changeup work in tandem, it's just one of the most difficult things for me to figure out. Here's Bell. And that's crushed to left center field. Deep drive once again. This one leaves, and the Rockies are on the board. Number 13 for Josh Bell. About the same spot his double went, but a few feet further to put the Rockies in front, handing off the lead to Jake deGrom. Josh Van Meter, bottom 4. Called strike 3 on the outside corner at 101 from Jake deGrom. I'm always amazed at his velocity throughout the game, because sometimes his fastest pitch comes like way later than you would expect. Jammed to left center, Geronimo takes care of it. Cruising through innings, not much offense going on. Here is Dom Nunez. Belted deep to center field. And this ball is run down near the warning track. That time Gallen actually missed with his changeup. Don't often get to see him do that. Fly ball center field. Measuring that one up. Catch made by Reynolds. Caratini with 1 down. Out in front now. Really trying to prepare for that 100-mile-per-hour fastball. I'm not sure how you can actually be ready for it, though. Trey Turner, top of the 6th, circle change, gets a whiff, and a fastball looking in the same spot, strike 3. 9 strikeouts for Zac Gallen trying to finish off the 6th, and Geronimo is underneath it, skied to center. And that ends the inning. 6 brilliant innings once again for Gallen, and DeGrom working on his quality start attempt. Gets the ground out to short. Here's Carlos Correa. Change up a bit off the plate. 3-0. And that one is low. Another walk, but walking Correa with the bases empty and 2 down isn't the worst outcome. Now back to Josh Van Meter. 0-1. There's the slider on the outside corner. 2 strikes from DeGrom. Got him again, nailing that top outside corner again and again. It is still a 1-0 game. The starters remain in. Josh Bell the other way, base hit. Now just a triple from the cycle. Ty France. That's a drive to the gap in left center field. Down for a hit. Bell rounds second. Base hit for France. First and third, Colorado. Still nobody out, and Reynolds gets ahead. 3-1. On the ground and through into center field. Bell scores. 2 are on, and that is it for Zac Gallen's day. It's still a great outing for him. But we took him yard today, and now he's responsible for 2 more base runners as they'll bring in Victor Gonzalez, who has been one of their most reliable relievers this season. Nunez tapped to the right side. Quick tag, and Gonzalez covers. Great double play. Runner at third now, 2 away. Here is Solak. Lined into right field. Base hit. France scores, and Solak's dominance against lefties continues. 3-0. And DeGrom still in there. Missed the outside that time. And Kepler holds up. 3-2. Upstairs, there's another late walk as he approaches 100 pitches on the day. That brings up Rojas, and he'll chase the fastball low. That gets out number 1. Yu Chang, 1-0. That's driven to right center field. Long run, not gonna get there. Extras for Chang. They're waving home Kepler. Relay throw. Not in time. Just ahead of the tag, and the Diamondbacks are on the board. Looking like the end of the day here for Jake DeGrom, but a great start for him once again. Now Alex Colomé entering, trying to limit the damage. This is Seth Beer. Anytime we faced him in the past, bad things have happened. Seth Beer, base hit right field, a run scores, and it's a 1-run ball game. Why do we even pitch to this guy? 2 down for Whit Merrifield. Cutter on the outside, followed up by a fastball inside. And he chases the changeup. One of everything there from Colomé to get the strikeout. And in the 8th inning, it's Lucas Sims' turn. Dominating righties, struggling against lefties. Marte chasing the changeup low. Big strikeout for Sims. Correa in the air to right. Nimmo to the line. Got it. 2 away. Now Josh Van Meter on the ground and through. Geronimo makes the play in left center field, and Van Meter trying to stretch this and slides in safely. Didn't look like it to me. I'm only slightly biased. But now a runner in scoring position, the tying run, and this is Max Kepler. 1-2. Got him with the big breaking ball. What a pitch from Sims to end the 8th. We bring the lead into the 9th. We'd love insurance. They bring in the soft tossing Ryan Yarbrough. He's got like 1 page of the game plan. Throw it low, out of the zone every time. How do you even handle these pitches coming in so slow? There goes Bell, missing his chance at hitting for the cycle. And we go bottom 9. It's time for Sir Anthony Dominguez to get the save opportunity, and he is 16 for 18, but these have not been the prettiest of saves. He's allowed a lot of base runners, and this is a soft chopper to short. Took forever to get to Turner, and Rojas reaches, representing the tying run. Yu Chang hit that double last time up. Now Dominguez gets ahead of him. 1-2. Way outside, he got the chase. That's what you love about Dominguez, is no matter where the ball ends up, they still might go after it. There's so much movement and velocity. Caratini chasing the slider, strike 3, and the Diamondbacks are down to their final out. They'll go to their bench. This opportunity goes to Corbin Carroll, and that is eye level for ball 3. And Carroll looks at ball 4. 2 on, including the winning run. We're back to the top of the order. Merrifield takes inside. Way outside, but he chased the slider. Big second strike for Dominguez. Missed again. 3-2. Marte on deck. And he missed once again. The bases are loaded for Ketel Marte. Diamondbacks could win it here with a base hit, and it's just too risky to keep Dominguez in there at 25 pitches after back-to-back walks. Scott Oberg comes in. Now a one-out save opportunity as he nails the outside corner. He went around. That's strike 2 on the slider. 0-2 to Marte. And he rolls it over. Bell makes the play, and this game is over. Zac Gallen gets the L in this matchup as the Rockies win it 3-2. Way too much drama there at the end. We were one bad pitch away from blowing that game and doing it here in episode 100. We just can't have that. Nice win, though. I mean, we're going to have a lot of games like this when we take on the Padres and the Dodgers. They have great pitchers. And then Zac Gallen, I mean, when we face him, if he played us enough, he'd be a Cy Young candidate. But we pick up the victory 3-2 over Arizona and come back for Game 2. I wanted to spend some time focusing on Corbin Burnes. He started the season struggling a bit, especially keeping the ball in the yard. He's already allowed 13 home runs. His home run rate right now would be a career high by a lot. But in his recent starts, things have gotten back to the more elite level that he's capable of. Now on to Game 2, taking on the Diamondbacks once again. I like these uniforms they have. I'm not even sure why they designed the blue uniforms, but I like it. He starts the day by walking with Merrifield. Rojas batting second. Out in front, good changeup, low and away. We've all struck out on that pitch 1,000 times. Carlos Correa chopped to short. Went after that low cutter, that is Burnes' best pitch, and he gets the inning-ending double play. Rockies give Burnes a 1-0 lead as that is jammed on the inside pitch. Great job by Burnes. Max Kepler up next. Jammed on the pitch, down and in, but a long run here to beat the shift for a base hit. That brings up Yu Chang. And he chased the slider way outside once again. That's one of the furthest chases I think I've ever gotten. And you can tell Burnes is doing something right with how many swings and misses he's getting here early on. That's fly to shallow center, no problem here. Bottom 3, 2 away, back to Merrifield, and that was left over the plate. Drilled deep to right field. Nimmo back to make the catch on the track. Got away with that one. Bottom 4. Correa's trying the same spot. Nimmo, long run, can't lay out to make the catch. It's extras, but it is a ground rule double. Diamondbacks starting to make better contact here against Burns. But Marte's out in front. Back to that changeup again for his 4th strikeout. That brings up Max Kepler as the cutter hits the outside. Full count. Got him looking on the outside corner. 5 strikeouts through 4 for Corbin Burns, pitching around any slight mistake he makes. Nice sliding stop by Turner. Quickly to his feet to make the play. That's a Gold Glove play there at short. And with 2 down, he's jammed so many on that inside pitch. Does it again here for a quick pop out. Really great stuff in this game from Corbin Burns. Feels like a totally different pitcher than he was at the start of the year. 1 down here in the 7th. Yu Chang hit the other way over Bell, and that's going all the way to the wall. Yu Chang with a double. And that'll bring up the catcher, Austin Barnes. And he's underneath this one. Fly to center, over, the catch is made. And Burns goes 7 scoreless, and the Rockies ultimately win this game. Final score, 4-0. The big plan going into this year was to strengthen the top of this rotation and give us pitchers that can legitimately beat the Dodgers and the Padres. And I think we have a big 3 now with Severino, DeGrom, and Burns. We win the first 2 against Arizona and try to earn this series victory. Now we have blown a late lead here, and the Diamondbacks lead at 7-6. This is the 9th inning. Alex Young, pretty good reliever, a guy I don't like facing, is out there. 2-0 to France. In the air, right center. Schaefer's at second, doesn't have great speed, he won't tag. We could not pinch run here because the only player left was, I believe, Dom Nunez. 0-2 to Reynolds, and the curveball gets him again. Young has a really nasty 12-6, and now he's 1 out away from the save as that curveball is back again to get Valade swinging. Taking that one. You got to learn to let it go. Chopped to third. Dodging the tag is Schaefer, but the throw is in time, and the Diamondbacks rally late to take game 3, 7-6. Looks like a complete bullpen meltdown here for the Rockies, giving up runs in the 6th, 7th, and 8th innings, and blowing a 5-1 lead. 1 game left here against Arizona, and I wanted to get some player lock games with the #1 overall draft pick of the series, David Geronimo. I really enjoyed his story unfolding here in the last couple of seasons, seeing him win Rookie of the Year and then belt 30 home runs a season ago. This team needed some young players to actually develop, and thankfully Geronimo has, as he steals second base to get in scoring position here for Josh Bell. Although even if you're on first base, I think when Bell's at the plate, that's scoring position. But unfortunately, he grounds out to second. Geronimo left stranded. Let's head to the 5th inning now. It's another high-scoring game. It's 5-5. That one for Geronimo in left as he comes in to make the play. Now, as we go to the 7th, Diamondbacks lead it. And a slider low. He chases that one a bit. High fastball, and Whistler gets him for strike 3. Still 6-5 here in the 7th. And this one is drilled over his head. And that ball is gone. The Diamondbacks have some interesting players in their minor league system. I'm not super familiar with this player, but that is the first home run for Kevin Made to make it 9-6. Diamondbacks getting the offense going in the last 2 games. And Geronimo's not able to help us out here in the 9th as we drop this game and end up splitting the series with Arizona. Lucas Sims didn't have a very good outing, and we didn't get the best start either. I believe this was a Yonny Chirino start, but I could be wrong there. But when it comes to Geronimo this year, I think he's been good, but he's taken a little step back from last season And in a lot of categories, his rookie season was better than what he's done so far. He's striking out more, reaching base a little bit less. Maybe it's time for one little change that's been requested for a majority of this series. You want to see David Geronimo with some gloves? Well, now is your chance. And I like these. Still third in all-star voting there for left field. I'd love to see him climb the charts there. In the air, left center, first swing, and hit with the gloves, but that one stays in the yard. We're now back at home taking on the San Diego Padres, trailing 2-0. As the changeup misses away, count goes full, and Geronimo will reach. Don't think the batting gloves helped him with that one. But a full count to Josh Bell. He ends up walking. The bases are loaded now with nobody down. That's a fly ball hit deep to left field. And that should be deep enough for a tag. And the Rockies get on the board. It's 2-1 San Diego. Next up, 3-1 count. And Nimmo draws the walk. So they are loaded once again, and Johnny Schaefer is at the plate, and yes, that is a .306 average. And that is drilled to deep left field. This ball's got carry, and Schaefer will send it out. 4 on the board for Colorado, a grand slam, and a 5-run inning. He's doing damage this year, even against right-handed pitching. Everything is right on schedule for Johnny Schaefer, and he helps us pick up the win here against the Padres. Luis Severino picks up the win, and that was the final run-producing hit. Rockies take it 5-2. If we look at the last 9 games for David Geronimo, he's only hitting .188. So he's definitely slumping. Might have to drop him down in the batting order at some point, too, if he's not able to turn it around. And that one hits him. Can't break out of the slump with a hit by pitch, I don't think. 2 on here in a 1-1 ball game. Bell the first. Quickly to second. Tatis returns double play. Let's head into the 3rd inning now. The pitcher is lefty Ryan Weathers, who gets away with the fastball up. Gets ahead of David 0-2. Geronimo! Deep to left! Crushed and gone! Maybe that'll help turn things around. On an 0-2 pitch, you're happy to get anything to put in play. But Geronimo does more than that. Rockies take a 2-1 lead on the 13th home run for David Geronimo. However, that lead would prove to be temporary. As we jump all the way to the 9th inning, it is 4-3 San Diego, 2 on. Geronimo at the plate, and that is blocked. Nice recovery. Got him at third base. That was Trey Turner thrown out. So now 1 on and 1 down for Geronimo, who is out in front. 2-2. Bouncer past the pitcher. And Tatis has an issue with it. Geronimo reaches, infield single. Would love if we had Turner on base for this. Josh Bell, 0-2, 2 on. Struck him out. And the Rockies are down to their final out in this game. Here's the former Padre. It's Ty France. A base hit, scores a run, but he takes the walk. The bases are loaded. Bottom of the 9th inning. And Brandon Nimmo's a great player to have up in this scenario. That is hit over to first base, and the play is made, and the Padres win it. We had a really great setup there, bottom 9, but Trey Turner getting thrown out didn't help, and just did not get that last clutch hit we needed. And San Diego wins the game. It's been tough for us to go on a nice run lately. Not many long winning streaks. We're 41-31, still in a really good spot in the wild card hunt, but it's obviously way too early in the season to worry about that. And we're 10 days away from seeing Rafael Devers return. That's probably 2 videos from now. Definitely going to make a big deal out of that. We have a handful of players who could make it to the All-Star game. I'm not sure how many backups make it or how valuable second place really is, but we'll keep an eye on that one. And right now, Jake DeGrom is first in Cy Young voting. If we check out Rookie of the Year voting, I don't think he'll get there with this start, but Zac Gallen is in the mix. He's at over 120 at-bats, but still does not have that first big league homer, surprisingly. But now it's time for us to go through one more today. We're going over an hour here in episode 100. Hope you came prepared with snacks. The Rockies are taking on the Padres once again. We're going back to Corbin Burnes. First inning, here is Fernando Tatis Jr. with a parking lot drive in the first inning. 495 feet. One of the furthest home runs I've ever seen in this game. We've had one go over 500, though. It was in a thumbnail, like last season or something. But yeah, if you parked out there in Lot C, might have a souvenir under your car. Let's go to the second inning here. It's Burnes facing Austin Nola as Bradley Zimmer is able to take second base successfully and get into scoring position with nobody out. And Nola draws the walk. This start not really starting out as well as the last one for Burnes. 2 on. Brandon Lau lines out to third base. 2 down, and that leaves Blake Snell, who lifts it to left. Geronimo over. Burnes out of trouble. Now, if you notice the starting lineup we had for this game, we literally were playing our entire bench. This team was so tired and needed off days. Like, everybody was at less than a third stamina or close to that. We get a base hit from Nick Solak, batting 6th here. Zac Gallen hitting 284. And he is way underneath that one. Lifted over and caught. 2 away, and here's Dom Nunez. Only hitting 209 right now. Can easily make the case that Schaefer should be out there on a more everyday basis. He flies out to left. Padres still lead it. Let's go top 3. On first base and taking off, Ha-Sung Kim steals second easily. This Padres team can run a bit. Fernando Tatis Jr. There's a slider clipping the outside. Trying to get some cheap strikes out there. 1-1. That's a drive to center field. And it's to the deepest part of the park, and still you can forget about it. It's the second home run for Tatis Jr. Traveled like 64 feet less, though. I wanted the pitch around him, and Burnes missed in the zone. Ryan Valade popping one up here for the catcher. Blake Snell dominating this lineup filled with backups. Xavier Edwards was batting second today. That's the kind of lineup it was. That's in the air to right, and it's an easy play. We are through 3. Padres lead this one 3-0. 2 down in the 4th for Brandon Lau, and he's going to beat the shift and send David Geronimo on a cross-country hike to go and get it. Somehow this didn't turn into a triple. Blake Snell is next with 2 away, and he lines a base hit into center field. Lau waved around third. Austin Martin's throw offline, and Snell getting greedy is thrown out at second. But they do extend the lead. 4-0 Padres. Colorado desperate for some offense, and that is lined to right center field. Should be extras for Solak. He's in with the 1-out double. Trying to bring him home, Austin Martin, 2-0. Base hit center field, a slow roller. Around third, Solak scores, and Amart gets us on the board. Still trailing by 3. Here is Zac Gallen. Chop the other way, quickly to third, and that is a 5-4-3 double play to end the 4th. Top of the 5th, Trent Grisham. That one taken low. This count runs full. And missing inside, Burns walks Gresham, and here's Fernando Tatis again. Hard to justify throwing him a strike. This time we don't. He walks, 2 on now. You get to Manny Machado behind him, 1 away. And that's in the air to right. Catch made in the gap, no advance. 2 down for Bradley Zimmer. And he pounds the curveball into the ground. That was a pitch he could have done some damage with. And Burns gets out of trouble again. I really wanted to see how far we could have Burns go in this game, because I didn't think when you're using like 5 or 6 bench players that you should also be using a lot of bullpen pitchers at the same time. Off the bench in the 5th inning. Brian Reynolds, deep drive. It stays in the yard. And he is in with the stand-up double, but with 2 down. Back to the top of the order, Trey Turner out in front. There's the curveball from Snell. He has a pretty good one. And then in there with the fastball. Upstairs, count runs full. 3-2. And that's driven deep to left field. Trey Turner, 2-run home run. And the Rockies pull to within 1. Turner's 15th on the season. Still behind Devers, who leads us with 16. But now it's really anybody's ball game. We bring in Andrew Heaney, who looked really good in that long relief appearance. Was that last episode when he went 6 innings out of the pen? Out in front, changeup gets him, strike 3. Jurickson Profar with 1 down, looks at a fastball clipping the outside corner. 0-2. Got him looking, fastball, top of the strike zone. Maybe this is just what Heaney needed. C.J. Abrams, strike 3 on that curveball, low and away. Maybe these short outings will let us see more of the best Andrew Heaney has to offer at this stage. That's a drive from Austin Martin. Deep to left center, but run down in the gap as we finish off the 6th inning. I wanted to see Andrew Heaney stay in this game as long as he could. But that is down in center, and Austin Martin's got to run a while as Ha-Sung Kim rounds second base, and he'll get to third easily. That was the perfect hit there, slicing away from Martin in center. Now it's Grisham, 3-2. Walks for the 2nd straight at bat. Now what are you going to do here with Fernando Tatis Jr.? 1-1. Base hit left field. We tried to pitch to him this time, and it was just a no-win scenario facing him. 2 on now for Machado. Grounded to third. Got the tag. A pump fake, and they get Machado. Was kind of panicking there. I'm not sure if we could have gotten the triple play. That might have been the best we could have done there. 2 down. Zimmer looks at strike 3. We got into trouble a lot in this game, but limited the damage. It's still within reach. 5-3, bottom 7. Ryan Valade kind of struggling, but he does take the walk. Padres into their bullpen now. Adrian Morejon is on the mound. And that's lined right at second base. Caught by Ha-Sung Kim to take us to the 8th inning. Jose Alvarado shatters the bat of Profar. The barrel goes further than the ball. 2 down. And that leaves Brandon Lau. Alvarado getting him to chase. Really want to see him get back on track. He gives us a good 8th inning. Bottom of the 8th now, Emilio Pagan. Curveball's in there, bottom of the zone, 1-2. Drilled deep to center field. Trey Turner, number 2 on the day as he ties Devers with 16. A solo homer, and we're back to within 1. The biggest hits here for Colorado coming from a lot of the veterans still playing today. Now Geronimo with a base hit to center, representing the tying run now on first base. That gets us to Solak hitting cleanup. And it's a ground ball to short. Tatis swings it to second. They get the double play. So now it's going to take something big in the 9th inning. We'll go top 9 here. This is Scott Oberg. I like giving him a lot of innings. We have 2 down here. Trent Grisham walked in his last 2 at-bats. And he swung. Why is that a hit by pitch? He swung. He's on first, so now we have to face Tatis again. And I'm giving up. Let him reach again for free. He's reached all 5 appearances. Manny Machado, next up. There you go, low and away. 2 strikes on Machado. Got him up and in. Nice job by Oberg. We go to the bottom of the 9th. 1-run game. They turn it over to Keone Kela. 21-25 on the season. Here's Austin Martin to lead things off. Fastball taken away. There's a fastball missing inside. Now this count runs full. Way inside. Ball 4. And the tying run is aboard. And that will bring up Zach Veen. Hitless on the day. No home runs and now over 130 at-bats. But he's out in front of the changeup. Out in front of that one as well. He's behind. 2 strikes on Veen. Takes the changeup away. Trying to battle back. 1-2. Inside. Martin stays put. Evened up now. 2-2. Got him out in front of the fastball that time. Kela gets the big first out. And that brings up Dom Nunez. 0 for 3 on the day. And hits the low curveball to Tatis. And the double play ends the game. No heroics here in the 9th for Colorado, unfortunately. A disappointing end, of course. I really wanted something big here to conclude it. But it's not always a storybook ending here. Anything is possible, good and bad. And the Rockies dropped this game. Still, it was impressive for us to keep that one close, only having a few of our regular starters. Turner went yard twice to keep us in the game. But Fernando Tatis Jr. is the player of the game. 2 homers, 4 RBIs, reach base every time he stepped in the batter's box. We are now 41-32 on the season. We'll have a series starting up next time against the Pittsburgh Pirates. We are 4 games back of the Dodgers right now in the NL West standings. And we'll see Rafael Devers come back, I imagine, after episode 101. I hope you enjoyed the video today. I wanted to do something special for this milestone episode. I think this has been one of my better series, and I really enjoy making it. I know there's so much enthusiasm in the comments as well, and that really made me want to not just throw up a regular episode here for episode 100. But I hope you enjoyed today's long special episode. Please leave a like if you did. Those are very helpful and I appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel for more Rockies franchise on the way. We're chasing a championship and we have a lot of work to do. Thank you again. I'll see you next time, everybody. Have a great day.